Let's go to the commodity space now and see what's happening amidst the just concluded celebration, the Salah celebration, and of course, what else is waiting for us? We have Dumebi Oluwole, manager at Financial Derivatives Company, joining us. Hi, Dumebi. Good morning. Welcome to the program. I think you should unmute because I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. I still cannot hear you. Okay. We need to find out what's going on with Dumebi right there. But we just finished with the celebration, the holidays, and of course, a lot of RAM. We did speak to Mr. Bismarck Rouhani just before the holiday, telling us their findings and prices of foodstuff especially. So we'll find out if that has eased after all of the demand, the increased demand for the celebration. That's one thing we're also going to discuss. And also the PMI. Nigeria's PMI, we see it up 54.1 from 52.1. We'll get details of that with Dumebi. And also, of course, we are discussing 3 years of President Bola Tinubu in office. What has been happening within those periods, talking about prices of commodity especially. Well, we know what has been happening with the price of petrol. We have Dangote as the center point of all of that. But of course, we also have the Middle East war, which has that external impact, on prices. So we hope to have Dumebi Oluwole to talk to us and share with us the perspective of financial derivatives on all of these issues. While we try to get her, let's just take a short break, and then we'll come back for that conversation, hopefully. Welcome back. It's still Business Morning right here on Channels Television, and we're supposed to speak with Dumebi Oluwole, manager at Financial Derivatives Company, to talk us through what's going on with especially the price of domestic commodities here in Nigeria, and also the news that Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index has increased from 52.1% to 54.1%. We have Dumebi now. Dumebi, can you hear me?
Yes, Ini, I can hear you very well now.
Awesome, and I hope
you can hear me now
as
well.
Yes, thank God for that. So I was asking, we know that just before the holidays, we saw domestic prices increase. What's happening now? I mean, I guess demand has reduced. Has the price also, have the prices also reduced?
Well, the prices haven't reduced in it. So prices are pretty much flat from, what it was before and then what it is now before the holiday period. And I think it's very much explanatory when you consider that, emerging markets like Nigeria typically experience price stickiness, where prices are quick to rise but very slow to fall. And this downward stickiness, of course, also goes further to explain how consumer dynamics also happen in a country like Nigeria, where there are periods where people bulk buy. There are periods where, people demand a lot more, like festive periods, and that's very typical of seasonality. And of course, the aftermath of this is that prices tend to largely remain, flat, with the likelihood of prices, with the unlikelihood rather of prices falling at any point in time, except if we do see a significant increase in supply, which hasn't necessarily happened yet.
And we see PMI up. Do we know the driver of this?
Yes. So from the report, from the Stanbic IBTC PMI report, we saw an increase in new orders and output levels. And that's somewhat explanatory when you consider that we're beginning to enter, Q3. And this is when we find a lot of inventory buildup for businesses. So we tend to see a lot of importation transactions, a lot of a lot of stockpiling within this period, intentionally to kind of meet demand that comes up during Q4 when we have the festive season. So it's understandable that this is happening now, and the expectation is that it would likely continue. But there are other factors that the report also hinted, and I think it's also very important to have that balanced understanding of what exactly is happening in the private sector in Nigeria. And the first thing that the report highlighted is that employment levels have largely remained muted. So even if we're seeing businesses, still keep their inventory and new orders ahead of Q3 and Q4, we are beginning to see a slowdown in how quickly they are employing. And this largely, of course, points to the broader labor market implications in Nigeria, where there is a slowdown in labor demand. And if that is the case, we'd likely continue to see underemployment numbers, unemployment numbers, and of course, poverty numbers significantly increase in Nigeria over the next couple of months and years. And World Bank report that recently came out on Nigeria's poverty also exemplifies, this stance. The second is the increase in input costs. So businesses are significantly experiencing an increase in their operational expenses. And even though for some reason, to some extent, that didn't offset their increase in demand for new orders, we're also seeing that it would likely, worsen business conditions going forward into the year and probably even after, especially because of the election cycle also coming up and the expectation that businesses do have for inflation to increase. The final aspect of this is consumer behavior. So with the inflation numbers, with the PMI numbers, we're also seeing how that consumers are significantly constrained in how quickly they can demand. Typically, ahead of elections, we see a lot of bulk buying with consumers, but unfortunately, within this period, we haven't necessarily seen that, and it's of course explanatory when you consider that inflationary pressures have remained high, commodity prices have also remained high, and when you juxtapose that with how income levels have not increased by the same amount, you understand why consumer behavior has largely changed. And of course, this deepens the connotation that a large population does not equate to a large consumer market.
Yeah, population does not equate to that. So I guess Nigeria should start boasting about being the most populous and the big brother of Africa. But thank you so much, Dumebi, for bringing that to us. Manager at Financial Derivatives Company, Dumebi Oluwole. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.